Welcome, everyone, to Constructed Chaos, where we run our D&D live streams every single Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and where tonight we are running our new episode of Chat Plays D&D, Depths of Nerethys. You all will have a chance to play D&D with me as your DM by piloting several characters that we have been maneuvering through this rather interesting adventure. If you guys are interested in piloting these characters, type !roleplay into the chat. That'll put you into the running whenever a viewer is randomly selected to temporarily pilot a character. And if you're tired of waiting and you want to jump to the front of the line, you can just make sure that you have 400 chaos points available to you, and that will put you before everyone else. Do make sure to stay active in chat. I know I mention it pretty often, but just so you guys know, it only chooses people who have been active within the last 5 minutes, just to make sure we're not picking somebody that hasn't been a part of the stream for a little while. Maybe they clicked off the video at some point. That said, as always, I have a couple of little surprises for you guys, some new tweaks and upgrades to the stream, and new features for you to enjoy. Not to allude to too much, but this week's feature comes from a suggestion from our very own Russell Mooney, who I see in chat. So I'm looking forward to you checking out what we have in store for you. Hope it works right. I haven't had a chance to test it, so we'll have to see how that goes. But what I have had a chance to test is our beard oil for tonight from Tabletop Beard. They sent my very favorite, the Ranger beard oil. And I mean that literally. I actually got a package in the mail from them today, and they were kind enough to send me more of my favorite scent. It smells like forest, fresh rain, and leather. And you should definitely try some out for yourself. It seriously is really good for your beard. It smells amazing. And it's a pretty decent price too, and you can get 20% off of your entire order, not just the oil, for with code CHAOS20 by following the link in the description below. Head over to Tabletop Beard's website. They are great friends of the channel, so I love talking about them, and I love to see you guys wearing some of the D&D inspired scents yourselves. Do also check out this comment from last episode, short and sweet, coming from Tiago Livas, who said, "Getting better every Monday." And I absolutely agree. As I alluded to, I always like to make improvements to the stream because it is kind of a work in progress. I think it's gotten to the point where you guys are doing a really good job of piloting these characters and you're used to how things function. But if at any point you think of a new upgrade you want to see, let me know down in the comments and I'll be happy to put that together over the next week or so. With all that out of the way, I do also have to shout out our friends over at Darkport. They stream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and their link is also in the description if you want even more D&D as part of your every week ritual. With all that said, I think it's finally time to roll the damn, Morgan's not here, so I can't remember how to say it, but I guess I'll just roll the footage.
Eerie silence reclaims the shattered streets of Nerethys as the whispering breeze swirls beyond the spiral path you wander. The woman's form, composed of a silt cloud, drifts back down to the sand, but her gaze lingers, as if Tethys, mother of tides, still watches from beyond the watery veil. You've borne witness to an echo of the past, the very moment when Einir was freed and sent to the surface for aid in freeing the rest of the city from Zealous' vile infection of the mind. But now your own mind reels from what you've heard, as Einir first addressed Tethys as a priestess of the very being that enslaved their people. Somewhere, at the center of it all, there must be answers to the questions you now ponder. Secrets, waiting to be dredged up from the depths.
Welcome back, friends in the chat. So now that all of you have seen the intro, we have one final item on the agenda to do before we get things started, we need to find out who's piloting our 3 characters to start off the evening. If you guys want to pilot these characters, make sure to type !roleplay in the chat. I'm actually only seeing 2 people in the running so far, so you'll have your chance, it looks like. But first, let's find out who's going to be piloting Yancifer, our halfling shadow sorcerer. Let's see. Russell Mooney, I just mentioned you a second ago. It is only fitting that you will be piloting Yancifer as we begin our session for tonight. Now let's move over to Valen, the Muscle Mommy Barbarian, and see who's piloting them. Looks like XIVM will be piloting Valen, the Muscle Mommy Barbarian. We love to see it. Now, I have not yet seen a third person enter the running. So, as is the ritual for this type of stream, if no one is piloting, I am going to self-pilot Narethys, the Paladin, the Goliath Paladin. But at any point, if I see somebody pop in and join the roleplay, you guys will get slotted into that. So that'll be an easy way to get to play some D&D with me tonight. Now, as we have just left off last session, the 3 adventurers were left with more questions than answers after witnessing a vision brought to them by a strange wind blowing through the abandoned city of Nerethys. We now rejoin them on the heels of that, battered and bruised after a pretty lengthy combat with some of the depths cultists and a tentacle that they seem to have refreshed, brought back to life using a vessel full of water, which has been added to Valen's inventory if anyone is interested. The character sheets are linked in the description below, and at the end of last session, the person who was piloting Valen mentioned that they wanted to grab that vessel, so it's there. It was easy enough to pick up, especially for a big, hulking barbarian like Valen. Now, with all that out of the way, Russell and XIVM, Yancifer, and Valen, what is it that the 2 of you are doing? I imagine Narethys is sort of taking his time just a short ways away, out of spell slots, and beaten within an inch of his life, really. Left at only 4 hit points.
Jason 96, we need ya, brother.
Yeah, Jason, I see you're in the chat there, and I know you're a paladin buddy, but I think you mentioned you're doing house stuff, so I totally understand if you can't play for a little bit. What are the other 2 of you doing in this moment? Trying to piece together the mystery that has been presented to you, an echo of the past, so to speak, placed within your minds. What is everyone doing? What are we thinking here? To recap, you guys are traveling along the spiral path that leads towards the center of the city. It's not like any other city that you may have come across where, there's a main road that leads straight to the middle. The city is organized in sort of a conical spiral that slowly brings you towards the middle. So although it may be visible up above you, it is going to take some time to get there. We are not quite there yet.
Yancy, do you think we should try to burn the other slightly dried up tentacles?
Yeah, the other tentacles, now that you've seen them, you know kind of what they look like. They're sort of these pale white, very thin tendrils that almost look like vines growing across all the different structures across the ground. Some of them, you can tell they're there just by the silt that's built up in sort of a lump over them. But they run everywhere, and what's maybe more concerning is that you're seeing more of them the further into the city you go. When at first you arrived in Nerethys, it was maybe every once in a while you'd see one of these tendrils wrapped around an old statue or crawling across a fallen pillar, but now it seems that there are at least a couple of tendrils on every structure in every direction you look. Begin to understand the dire nature of this
It's
situation.
better we don't leave them for the cultists to revive.
That is a good idea. So if it looks like you guys want to try and burn some of these tentacles, I will definitely allow that. Perhaps maybe a burn as you go. Scorched earth. I'll have to see what exactly you guys have on hand that would allow you to burn them. I know Yancifer probably has Firebolt. Yep. Classic good spell. And Valen, just doing Valen things. I'm sure you could find a way to light some fires if you needed to. Is that what we want to do? I will say that's going to slow down your...
You look rough, big man.
This is nothing. I've been hurt much worse than this before. My goddess's light shines down upon me, even at these depths.
It's my best Nerethys voice. I know it's not quite the same. He sounds maybe like he's a little sick. He's a little stuffy. Some sinuses. So Russell, XIVM, if we think we're burning these tendrils along the way, just say the word. I will say it's gonna slow your progress, but it is definitely something that you can do.
I do think it's important to keep in mind we're all a bit drained at this point. We may want to find a place to rest, even for a little while.
Says Narethys.
I imagine Yancy would use fire damage sorceress burst just for that chance to hit them extra hard.
That's a good idea. Absolutely. As you all continue to wind your way through the spiral path, looking for any remnants of Zealous, these tendrils that wrap around nearly every structure, trying to pull them up by the root like weeds, just scorched earth policy here. I'm going to have you make a perception check to see how well you can see all of the tendrils that you may need to burn here. So that'll be !R perception. Looks like Tides of Mo is getting home. She knows that the dogs are about to bark. Justin, welcome in, man. We have Narethys unpiloted if you would like to jump into the fray here. Very nice, Russell. An 18 with a +0 on perception. As you're looking out as Yancifer across the expanse, you can see quite a few tendrils, and you're even able to notice the ones that sit just beneath the silt in a sort of lump of raw earth. Those ones are a little bit harder to set on fire, and so you kind of dig at them to expose the tendril before sorceress bursting and allowing the tendrils to be set aflame. Because they are so dried out, they do catch surprisingly easy. And your flames even seem to dig into the ground a little bit as it chases down the root of that tendril. It may not trace back all the way to the source, but it certainly looks like this is an effective method of clearing out a lot of the issues you may come to face in the city, sort of nipping these problems in the bud. But it does, as I mentioned, slow your progress. So after about another half day of travel, being very vigilant about snuffing out these sources of evil where they lie, you come upon an open, broad plaza. By your best measure, this is a forgotten market square, its stalls long since rotted into dust. Graceful arches frame its open entryways, and beneath their shadows, a sprawling mosaic glints faintly in the dim light. The tiles, though weathered and broken in places, still form the image of rolling waves rendered in fading blues and golds, coiling upwards into a pattern of 3 unblinking eyes, each stacked atop one another. So, what would the 3 of you like to do, as we now have a third player slotted in? Justin will be piloting Narethys here. Good friend of the channel. Welcome in, buddy. what does everyone want to do as you come across this open air market that has been long since abandoned? You take a break from your scorching of the earth, your burning of these latent tendrils to maybe inspect this mosaic and look around for any other signs of life. It's been a half day and you've seen no one else up to this point. What are we thinking? Hey, John Washburn. Feel free to type !roleplay in the chat if you'd like to pilot these characters. There are currently only 3 people in line, so you'll get to jump ahead pretty quickly if you want. Yeah, no worries. You can watch from the background. I totally understand the appeal of that. So Russell, XIVM, Justin, what are we thinking as we find this new mysterious location along the spiral path?
Looking for signs of life, tracks, etc.
Okay. Justin, I'm going to have you roll.
Looking for signs of life, tracks, etc.
Oh, that's weird. Spoke twice. That's a new problem that I haven't run into. I'm going to have you roll a perception check. Or survival. We'll do survival. So !R, survival. And that should add all your modifiers for you as you go along here. All right. Okay. With an 8, Justin, Nargith, being as weak as he is after these past battles, being totally drained of spell slots and almost out of divine sense, or rather, channel divinity, he's tapped. And as you look out across this expanse, you're having a hard time finding any signs of life, and that might mean that there's not much to be found here. But you can't help but feel like you're not working at your best. You're actually somewhat aware of that, despite the fact that you rolled an 8. What are the other 2 of you doing here, Russell and XIVM?
Let's see if we can find a safe spot to rest soon. I think, Narethys, you are covered in more of your blood than the enemies.
So XIVM, I'm gonna have you as Valen roll a perception check to see if you can find a good area to sort of hunker down for a short rest. That's a bit off the beaten path. So !roll perception. Or R, if you want to shorten it up. There you go. What a pro. Oh no! A natural 1. XIVM, you look across all of these abandoned market stalls and these dilapidated structures, and you feel like the area is probably rife with places for you to hide, but the best thing that you can come up with is an abandoned storefront just on the edge of the square. It's easy enough to access and easy enough to see, even with a nat 1. The doorway itself is open, but it's the only structure that you feel might be strong enough to not collapse on you while you're resting within. And so you guide the other 2 of your party to settle in this shadow of a collapsed
Easy access.
shop front.
Just how I like M.
Absolutely. And while it is somewhat still structurally intact, its walls are sagging. The plaza still lies beyond, and you can see it from the opening at the front of the building. It's still. Again, no signs of life, but there is a faint sound. A whistle on the wind as it slips through the broken archways. And then a sudden gust, just as you break from the open air of the plaza, sweeps across the market, stirring the silt and shadows into motion. For a heartbeat, the plaza is alive again. Ghostly figures flicker across the stones, running away from the city center. Their voices echo unnaturally as if carried through a hollow shell.
The whispers are gone! Quick, run while you can! The eyes are upon us! Don't look back!
You see a humanoid man stumbles as his belongings scatter across the ground. Something shiny glints as it skids into a narrow crack in the mosaic. but he clambers to his feet and continues to flee without paying any mind to what he's lost. The gust then settles and the figures vanish as quickly as they came, leaving only the dying whistle of the wind. As the three of you...
Did all of you see that, or have I lost too much blood?
That is a good question. I would imagine that even with a low perception roll, as we've seen previously, this is a hard thing to miss. And you may not have spotted every detail that was available, but you definitely saw at least what I've described to you. Now, as the three of you are short resting here, let me know what we'd like to spend in terms of hit die. Looking across the character sheets, each of you have 2 hit dice left, and you can just type !R and the dice equation to roll those if you would like, and I will take that as your short rest.
I would like to use magic awareness.
Okay, absolutely. Let me pull that up to make sure we're keeping track of your abilities here. Yeah, 2 per long rest, and you have not used it yet.
I saw it too, Narethys. Yancifer wanders over to the spot the man in the vision dropped the shiny object.
Yancifer, I'm going to have you do !R investigation to see if you can spy what exactly or where exactly this glinting shiny item has fallen between the cracks. Valen, as you activate your magical awareness, you do sense something magical coming from the crack where you saw that shiny object skitter off. So, Russell, with an 11, you find the crack in question, and you crouch over top of the mosaic, sort of tracing the faint spiral of blues and golds until your fingers brush up against that jagged opening near its center. With an 11, you can tell that something is glinting within the fracture, but you're not entirely sure what it is. It's hard to make out. It's very dark in there, and it's kind of a slender opening. It's wide enough that you could probably reach your hand in there and grab it, but you're not sure what it is. What do you want to do here? And the other 2 of you are certainly welcome to hop in as well if you'd like to if you'd like to take the chance before you answer. It's always worth a risk for a little bit of shiny.
I reach in to try and retrieve it.
Okay. So, Yancifer, you reach in, and just as your hand graces what appears to feel, it feels like something cold and smooth. Something in the darkness beyond it stirs. A sleek, sinuous shape slides free, and a barbed eel bursts forth, scales flashing in the dim light, its jaws parting as a sudden spark of static dances between its needle-like teeth. I'm going to have everyone roll for initiative, but this is going to be theater of the mind. And for the record, this is not a giant eel. This is a relatively small eel. It appears you may have intruded upon its home. So we'll start, Yancifer, Russell, with you. Type !R initiative. And that should add your modifiers. And we'll go in order here. So Yancifer, then Valen, then Narethys to see who goes next. Did I just Borgen us? Nice. I don't think she'd take offense to that. Whoa, 21. That is a hell of initiative. Wow. Nice, Yancey. So Yancifer will probably be going first, but let's find out, Valen, if you want to roll your initiative. Kathy Evans, welcome in. If you'd like to pilot one of these characters, type !roleplay into the chat. XIVM, you get a 9 for Valen here, and Justin, I'll have you roll the same to see where Narethys is going to go. Nargith is going to be bringing up the rear, fitting given how beaten you are at this point. As we actually start off this encounter with Yancifer. However, that barbed eel is currently lunging out at you, mouth open wide. There is no question where this attack is going when it does cross over to its turn, whenever that is. So, Yancifer, what are you doing at the top of the initiative here? After disturbing the home of this barbed eel, you can see these sort of long, slender pinpricks of bones sticking out from between lengths of its scales. For those of you wondering, this is a custom stat block. It will be in our monthly homebrew pamphlets. It is creepy. I wanted it to feel a little creepy, and I made it a certain type of creature so that we might get some extra druidic options here. You know how I feel about the druid wild shapes. Now, Russell, I do see you're going to Misty Step back towards the party and then hit it with a Mind Sliver. Great choice. As you blink away in a flash of mist that is almost immediately evaporated given the nature of the storm that keeps Nerethys dry, you blink back near Nargith, I imagine, who is the furthest from this action, and then send a Mind Sliver in its direction. I believe Mind Sliver is a save. It needs to make an int save here. It makes it with a 15 exactly. Now, I won't reveal what it had to roll on the die to get that, but let's see. I think Mind Sliver is save or suck. It is. As you attempt to connect with this creature psychically across the expanse of this mosaic, it's writhing a bit too wildly, and it sort of ducks down back into its hole. And so it's hard to find purchase within its mind to set your attack on it. So with that, we now move to Valen. We now move to the eel's turn, actually. And Valen, as you were walking up, I imagine this eel is going to leap out of the hole. Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of movement speed outside of the water, so it slithers across the ground, closing on you, and it's going to try to bite you, Valen. That is a 17 to hit, which will hit you, Valen. You're going to take 3 points of piercing damage. 5 points of piercing damage and 2 points of lightning damage as its teeth sink into your skin, and you feel your arm sort of tense up as it injects an electrical current underneath your muscles. So that's 7 points of total damage. You are not raging currently. As that drops you to 32 out of 48 hit points, we now... I'm going to say the eel doesn't have any movement left, but as that electrical current pulses through you, Valen, you get the sense that you wouldn't have been able to swing on it if it tried to leave your range, specifically because your arm has kind of gone temporarily numb. However, you are able to take reactions again after this turn, so that won't come up, but good information for later. As we now go to your turn, Valen, what is it that you would like to do? And more importantly, did we fix the say command? Oh, here comes the rage from Valen. Let's see. With that is a 2 on the rage, which translates to... Sorry, I have to pull this up. You teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Until your rage ends, you can use this effect again on each of your turns as a bonus action. This is definitely one of my favorites and one of the best ones, I imagine, for this encounter, as you can probably now teleport away if that is what you so wish. What do you want to do here, XIVM?
Teleport back 30 feet and chuck a javelin.
So you teleport 30 feet back and you chuck a javelin at this eel. go ahead and roll. It's going to be !R, STR, attack to see if you can land that javelin throw after you teleport backwards. I think I've got everything functioning now, guys. Sorry. So it's just the slightest change in code can have such a big effect. Okay, with a 9, you unfortunately are not able to hit this eel as it sort of slithers across the ground wildly. Your javelin sticks into the silt and then begins to lop over and sink. Unfortunately, that is going to be the rest of your turn, but you do get your rage up. You are raging, and so hopefully won't take too much more damage as we now pass the turn to Narethys. Justin, what would you like to do as Narethys, seeing your allies sort of jumping backwards, hoping not to take any more damage? Binary is a unique language to translate. Thankfully, this is in C#, so it's pretty understandable. But sometimes the logic of it gets a little bit convoluted, considering it's code within a system that does other things. There's sure to be at least a few disconnects, especially when I don't have time to do a test stream for some new features. But we're getting it. We're getting it. So what do you think, Justin, as you see your friends...
Narethys uses his lance to keep his distance, but will attack.
Okay.
Narethys uses his lance to keep his distance, but will attack.
So now we're back to it triggering twice for some reason. I will have to figure that out off stream at some point. I'm not sure what exactly is causing that. But yeah, you take out your lance so that you have a little bit more room to attack. And you have to do !R, STR attack, so it knows which modifier to tie into the attack roll. Unfortunately, that did steal another use for you. Sorry, Justin. It's all a learning experience here. So make sure to add that STR. !R, STR attack. There you go. Nice. Hell yeah, a 25 and a natural 20
I'll
at that.
I'll communicate with you about it during our communication game, if and when I make that decision.
Sounds good. Saft, as you now jump into the pilot seat for Narethys, you try to communicate with this eel using your lance as you actually, you know what? You swing it like a baseball bat and clobber this eel with a natural 20. I'm going to have you roll 2d10 plus 5 to see how much damage you do with this lance. So !R, 2d10 plus 5. I think this might actually be one of the first crits of the campaign. Surprisingly enough, there have not been that many 20s rolled. $17 points of damage. Nice. There unfortunately are no more smites left for Narethys, as you have burned your free smite and your 3 spell slots in the past battle. There are also no more Giant's Burn that you normally use. Those were used up as well, but 17 is a good amount of damage as you are able to drive this eel back towards the hole from whence it came. I believe the lance has a different weapon mastery here. Let's see, the weapon mastery is topple, so it needs to make a con save to see if it falls prone. It does make the save, however, I do feel like an
bonus
eel...
action lay on hands?
You're out of lay on hands as well. You guys are spent after that last combat, and that's why we were kind of looking for a short rest, but it's hard to deny a little bit of shiny when you see it. So I imagine, Narethys, you are able to connect with your lance, sending the eel flying backwards a little bit, but it scurries back into the same location where it was. It is 5 feet away from you, and something interesting happens as you connect with it. It's going to use its reaction, Slippery Escape, after you've dealt damage to it with an attack roll, and it's going to move up to its half its movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. And so it moves within 5 feet of you and sits there because it only has 10 feet of movement when it's not in the ground, or not in the water, rather. As we now circle back to Yancifer's turn. Yancifer, what would you like to do, seeing that this eel is now bloodied after your very wounded friend took a swipe at it? It looks like it's now trying to attack the wounded paladin that has only 4 hit points remaining. Yancifer, you may need to come to the rescue here. Don't worry, it's certainly worth the trouble. Whatever little shiny bit is trapped in that crack in this mosaic, I believe it'll be worth it.
Sharkling, can you freeze its escape options shut?
That's not a bad idea. Trapping this interesting creature for whatever ill-fated uses Andres may have for it. I know he likes to collect tentacles. Collecting an eel might not be a bad idea either. Slippery escape, yes. I'm pretty happy with the stat block, especially as a water creature. It being on land means it doesn't get to show off all the cool things it can do, but it exists. You guys will get to see it, I believe. So what are we thinking, Russell, aka Yancifer, as this eel slithers towards your very, very wounded friend?
Quicken Spell Bless on the party, then Cold Sorceress Burst on the eel. I also would like to interpose myself between the eel and Narethys.
Okay, so you're going to Quicken Spell, bring up Bless on the rest of the party. That does mean, I believe that's your last first level spell slot, but you are... Oh, no, sorry. Bless is one of... No, that is from Fey Touched. So you get to just use that without using a spell slot. And then you cast Sorceress Burst on the eel. Go ahead and roll an attack roll. So it's going to be !RCHA attack to see if you can strike this eel. Unfortunately, Narethys is only 5 feet away and you can't quite fit between the two of them. But I will say you're able to get right alongside Narethys and maybe try to get this eel's attention so they're not attacking your wounded friend. Andres, I think you might be able to stuff this eel into that vessel that you picked up last session. A 16 will hit with your Sorceress Burst. Go ahead and roll a d8 to see how much damage you deal to it. Let me know the damage type. That may or may not be important here. Oh, looks like Justin, you have now slotted into Yancifer. If you're still here, you're going to be the one rolling that D8. And it'll be cold damage. Got it. Okay. As is fitting for our shadow sorcerer of ice and darkness. So Justin, you'll type !R space D8, and we'll find out how much damage this Sorceress Burst is dealing to this barbed eel. A 2. Now that is damage. That's not nothing to turn away from. As the cold washes over the body of this eel, you see it's relatively unaffected by it, seeming like it's accustomed to the low temperatures and the pressures associated with being this deep in the water. Now, that is just flavor. It's not resistant or immune to cold damage, just so you know. As we now move to its turn, seeing as you damaged it last, Yancifer, it is going to try and attack you as it lunges with its bite. That is going to be an 18 to hit. As it digs its teeth into you, Yancifer, you're going to take 7 points total of damage, and you can't take reactions until the end of your current turn. So, Yancifer, that brings you down to just 13 hit points remaining. And, more importantly, it allows the eel to do something pretty interesting. Yancifer, because you can't take reactions until the end of until the end of this turn, the eel is going to try and slither away from both you and Nargith, but as it does, it slithers between your legs, sort of rubbing up against you, and drives its barbs into you, dealing a little bit of damage with its movement. Now, it is important to note, Nargith, you do still have your reaction. You can still make an attack on this thing with your reaction if you would like. But both of you are going to be taking 3 points of piercing damage from this movement as the eel slithers away. The answer for that's going to bring you down to just 10. And Nargith, that brings you down to a healthy 1 hit point. So, Saft.
I would happily react to hit this fuck.
Absolutely. Go for it. Saft, do !R STR attack to see if you can strike this eel as it drives its barbs into your leg, slithering just past you. You are going to be using your lance to do this because it was taken out earlier. It does mean you don't have your shield currently.
Kill it a lot.
It's got to be attack spelled out. Sorry. That is a good idea for me to add that shorthand in, though. That might be a feature I add next stream, and I'll let you guys know. But do STR attack spelled out. Kill it a lot! Quick, before it can move even more. A 17 does definitely hit this creature. I am going to have you do !R D10 plus 5. And that should figure out how much damage you're dealing. The plus 5 is your modifier there, and the D10 is your damage die from your lance. We're going to see if you knock this thing prone as well. 10 points of damage.
Hold it still, Narethys. I have a nice shiny container right here for it. Yancifer bellows towards Narethys.
Yeah, Nargith drives his lance into it. Unfortunately, it does make it save on the topple again, so it is not driven prone, but it's not able to get far, as it, once again, is not able to slither across land very well. It's only about 5 feet away from both Yancifer and Nargith, as Valen is now bounding in after teleporting away. We move to Valen's turn. So, Valen, what would you like to do? The eel looks like it is on its last slither, last leg. I'm not sure what to call it. Its last pseudopod? Andres, what are you thinking as Valen? I know you're eager to collect more squishy, slimy, slithery things. Its last slither, yes. So you guys can now see I'm very happy with how this one turned out. A low CR creature that does damage with its movement. Interesting. You're not going to find that in too many monster manuals. Darth Melkor, thanks for jumping in to say hi. If you have time, jump in and roleplay some of these characters with us. But if not, I totally understand. I hope you have a great night. XIVM, don't put that juju on us. It's the thought we were all thinking. But you know, I think we're better than that. I hope you know you've potentially inflicted this eel on some of my future players when I DM. I hope so. I hope that you have. You know, it is my goal to create interesting things that are interesting enough that you would run them at your own tables. That gives me more joy than you could possibly imagine. Thank you, Russell. So, Andres, you can teleport as a bonus action if you would like. That is something that your wild magic barbarian has afforded
smiles
you.
mischievously and pulls out the vessel from before making sure that the lid is open. She teleports to 10 feet above the eel and slams the open vessel onto the eel, stuffing it inside.
Okay, now I feel like I do need to make a check here. And I think the check I would like to make is animal handling. It hasn't really come up yet. You're sort of snake charming this eel a little bit. I'm going to have you do !R, animal handling. And we're going to see if you're able to capture this. Don't worry, it is very weakened, so the DC is not high for this. Especially given the fact that this vessel you're carrying is huge. Okay, with animal handling, you are able to slam this jar down as you then hear sort of the reverberated thuds within as the eel flops against the sides of this this vessel that you've been carrying. And as you let go of it, it's quite heavy, over 20 pounds in fact. And so the eel is trapped in there even without your force atop it. And all of you have now made it out of initiative. Narethys with only 1 hit point remaining. So, with this eel freshly trapped, with all of you just a little bit more worse for wear than you were previous, what would the 3 of you like to do? As it does look like we fixed the say command. Thank goodness. Are we naming it Flotsam or Jetsam? It's not a bad idea. I like it.
Who would like a pet eel?
You look out across your compatriots who were both just injured by the barbs that this eel carries along its torso. And maybe they're feeling a little bit apprehensive about that. You just had to go look for the shiny, which is still there. You were able to tell that it was something separate. This eel just happened to be in the hole with it. So that is something that you guys can do if you'd like to go and plunder the lair of this eel. What are we thinking? I know Andres wants this as a pet, and I'll say with your 14 animal handling, you were able to capture this creature without doing it any more harm, so it might be open to forming some sort of bond with you. It is going to require some subsequent checks, however.
I'm hurt. Bad. I can't do much right now but swing my sword and grab shit.
That is a good point. Yeah, you're hurting pretty bad. And you guys did at least find a decent place to short rest, but currently you've not been resting. So it will take a little bit of time for you to be able to spend those 2 unspent hit die and
hobbles over to a quiet corner and rests, using a hit die if available. Narethys, sit and rest. Be you stub your toe or something. Hobbles over to a quiet corner and rests, using a hit die if available.
That's so
Narethys,
weird.
Sit and rest. Be you stub your toe or something.
Justin, I don't know why it is specifically doing 2 for you every single time. That is an interesting bug that we found. Try next time doing it without using the say command, without typing !say. It might just be triggering it twice. That's entirely possible. You encourage Narethys to go and get a little bit of rest while you and you and Valen continue to look across this mosaic. What specifically would you guys like to do here? There's certainly more left to see. More left to explore within this abandoned city of Nerethys.
I go over to a corner in short rest, rolling my hit die to recover a bit and maybe reclaim a channel divinity.
Russell, you are now piloting Narethys.
Shiny, Valen exclaims as she flips the vessel and quickly places the lid back on. She then carries the vessel to the water to fill the vessel a bit with water. She also uses magical eyes.
Okay, so with your magical eyes, Valen, you are able to see quite clearly the shape of the item that is trapped inside of this crevice. And as you're, again, with the 14 animal handling check, you're able to keep that eel contained, placing the lid back onto the vessel. However, I am going to say that you are not near enough to a source of water. As you've been traveling deeper into the city, water is not present here. It is actually held at bay and almost entirely evaporated whenever the with the advent of the storm that is meant, as you understand, to dry out the area so that Zealous can't return in earnest. However, as you approach the crevice and look down into it, you can see that the shiny item that you saw is a slender vial that sort of glows a pale amber color. And you reach in, pulling it out. You can see that this viscous liquid is sort of swirling and casting faint light across the mosaic. And as maybe you uncork it to inspect it, it's got the faintest scent of brine and sulfur. The solution sort of clings to the glass as it shifts and appears to be faintly acidic. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but it appears to be some sort of acid concoction. Could be useful. It is certainly concentrated enough to be magical. Oh, it tells you the school, if any. I would say that this is probably going to be... Yeah, we're going to say that this is evocation. This would be evocation school. Thank you, XIVM, for the rules clarification there. So now you have this...
I think further inspection can wait, Valen. Yansifer will short rest next to Narethys.
Okay. So Yansifer goes over and meets with Narethys. I imagine, Valen, you are doing the same. I will have you guys roll your own hit dice. For the record, each of you has 2 hit dice left, so you could only roll 1 if you want. And I'll mark them off accordingly. But you have up to 2 that you can use. So if you want to do that, Yansifer, I'll have you do !R, however many d6 you want to roll, and you can add in your modifier as well if you'd like. 2d10 plus 4 from Russell. That's for Valen. That's 15 points of healing. I believe that's going to get you back up close to full. It does. 47, just 1 hit point shy of full health there. You spend the last 2 hit dice. And it looks like, Justin, you rolled 5 by expending just 1 hit die plus 2. So that'll bring you back up to 15. Not quite full, but a good... cautious roll there to make sure you're getting the most out of those hit die. You do have 1 left, just in case you guys are able to do another short rest later. And then Narethys. Oh, Russell, sorry, that was for Narethys. Yeah, my bad, because Valen would have a d12. So, Andres, go ahead and roll the hit dice that you would like to roll. Narethys, you'll get healed for 15 instead. Thank you for that catch.
Can you help me figure out this item after we rest, then shadow sharkling? Valen asks as she stores away the item and vessel in her mysterious female barbarian storage space.
Oh, quite mysterious. That loincloth of holding, I imagine, is even getting full after all these pickups. But Andres, roll whatever hit dice you would like. Yours are d12s, and you have 2 remaining. Your modifier, I believe, is a +3. So you could potentially do 2d12 plus 6 healing over the short rest. If not, you can also do 1d12 plus 3. Yeah, these I imagine you'll be happy with your rewards here for the extra little encounter, the extra trouble you came across. 13. Now that is relatively low for just 1d12. So that's actually a really good roll. You got a 10 on that d12. So Valen, you're healed for 13, bringing you back up near full. You're at 45 out of 48. And so you all take your time after not seeing many other signs of life in this area to heal, to nurse your wounds, and really just take a break from the scorched earth approach that you've had traveling through Nerethys. Turning and burning all of these tentacles as you see them is hard labor, certainly. And while you have made good progress trekking through the city, you've been at it for about half a day now. And so after that hour of short rest, you feel refreshed enough to continue onwards. You all exit from the shop front and look again at this mural that spans the open plaza. Is there anything you'd like to do before leaving and continuing on down your spiral path? As is typical, we will take the first answer we get here for this. Oh no, Andres knows what we did now. What did you do? And that eel is still in the container. Like I said, it'll require some extra checks, but you guys can definitely try and befriend it with some animal handling. Return to
Valen pulls
scorched
out
earth.
the item from before. Shadow sharkling help now?
I'll say over that short rest, you guys would have been able to spend some time inspecting this item. So if we're hoping for Yancifer's help here, Yancifer, I'll have you roll an Arcana check to see if you can determine what exactly this is, what effect it might have when used, either consumed or thrown. Hard to know with a liquid in a mysterious glass vial. There's always that Russian roulette of maybe trying to consume it and asking questions later. Brian Acosta, welcome in, friend. I hope you're having a great night. Feel free to jump into the queue to pilot one of these characters using ! Roleplay. Okay, with a 14 on the Arcana, Justin, as Yancifer, you are able to determine what exactly you all have in your possession. This is ocean fire. You have not seen this liquid in a long time, and what you have seen was in a laboratory of some alchemist studying marine plants. It's a concoction created by grinding up poisonous coral and combining it with seawater, boiling it down, and really concentrating it. It is an actual magic item that I have created, so I'm going to add it to Valen's inventory since that's the person that has it currently. And then I'll kind of share it with all of you. Okay. So the ocean fire vial is technically a magical item, single use. As an action, you can toss the vial up to 60 feet and break it. Creatures within 10 feet of where the vial breaks must make a DC 13 Dex save or be coated in a coral-based acid solution for a minute or until a creature uses an action to rinse off the ocean fire. While coated in this way, attack rolls have advantage against the creatures as they glow, and the creatures take 3 acid damage, 1d4, at the start of each of their turns. So it's a little bit of, it's kind of fairy fire-esque, a little bit of damage as well, and it doesn't use a spell slot. So pretty cool, pretty useful item. Might want to save that for a rainy day. Definitely good to have, especially as a barbarian that can't really cast spells. You might be able to get some spell-like effects with
Yancifer
that.
adds to the description. Not to be confused with firewater. Don't drink it.
Absolutely. I imagine take out maybe a small inkwell and quill and scribble that in the the tiny text underneath whatever label is on this ocean fire vial. Yes, it is pretty and quite painful. As you now come to understand what it is you have in your possession, you hope that the risks you took to obtain it were worthwhile. So now look out across this empty mosaic plaza, knowing that only danger lurks ahead. If this is what the wildlife is like, there's no telling what the actual ne'er-do-wells of Nerethys may have in store for you. So what are the three of you doing in this moment?
Any ideas about that mosaic, anyone? I suggest we move onward if we don't have any insights.
Well, Justin, as Yancfer, if you would like, you can certainly make an investigation check to see what you can glean about the mosaic yourself. I do imagine that Yancfer might be one of the better suited for that check. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I haven't looked at the stats here in just a second. Everyone's fairly low int.
Ocean fire, not drinkable. That should be helpful forging for later. Valen notes as she brings back out the vessel and attempts to bond with the eel. Don't worry, would you like to be a partner? You are not wrong.
Okay, Justin. As Yancfer begins to look over this mosaic, understanding that the statues that you've seen coming in, the inscriptions on plaques, have been very helpful in determining the nature of this city and what happened so long ago in the past, you get down on all fours and begin to look at the details of this etching. Specifically, as you study the mosaic more closely, you are drawn towards the three eyes stacked one on top of another at sort of the center of this art piece. You notice that each iris isn't rounded at all, but somewhat elongated and almost in a humanoid shape. More than that, though, you notice that the topmost eye is fractured and worn almost beyond recognition. There's a web of cracks that spreads outwards from its center as though something struck it, but you're not sure what or why or even how. It doesn't look like there's much here that could have fallen upon it unless it fell and was removed later. The two eyes below are relatively intact. You're not sure what exactly to make of that, but it certainly feels significant to you. Andres, now you are piloting Yancifer. We're doing a little bit of musical chairs here tonight with these three characters. So after gleaning what you feel is all you can from this mosaic, you continue onwards, continuing to strike out at whatever tendrils you see along the way, hoping to spare yourself the trouble of fighting more of Zealous's tentacles later. Spiral path bends and widens as you round a corner about a couple hours into your journey. And you see now a towering domed structure looms ahead. Its sweeping arches and tiered spires rise up from the silt, their coral-choked edges softening the ruin's grandeur. Even in the decay, its form is unmistakable. Its broad nave, high vaults, and twin towers mirror the great cathedral on the bridge of Nerethys above. The one that you snuck through to get into the bridge itself. This one does feel quite a bit older, as if the surface sanctuary was only ever a pale imitation of this place. To its side, you see the spiral path is choked with heaps of fallen debris and twisted coral, a barricade of rubble too dense to climb or clear quickly. As you take in the sight, more important than anything, a figure catches your eye. At this distance, it's hard to make out what exactly that is without a perception check. And I do want to take a moment to say thank you,
Interesting.
Justin.
Narethys, was there something like this as in your book, The Mysteries of the Deep? Yansifer asks as she moves to Valen to help with the eel and help stop the dwarf from hurting herself.
That is a good idea to keep your party healthy. And Justin, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I really appreciate that on our Chat Plays D&D stream. I know normally our regular Wednesday streams are the hot ones. So that is, you have my gratitude. Thank you so much, man, for being here and for gifting memberships and helping our community grow. Andres, you take a moment to, as Yansifer, help your friend with this eel to make sure she doesn't hurt herself. I will say if she wishes to try and befriend it, she may have advantage on those animal handling checks. The Azure Sky, welcome in. Hope you're having a great night. Saft, you may have to make sure that your gifted memberships are turned on. There are instructions that pop up during the break, which we may be taking here in just a second. But most pressing out of anything, all of you are seeing a figure in the doorway of this structure that looks just like the Church of Nerethys back up on the surface. You're hard pressed to make out what that silhouette is from this distance without a perception check. So if any of you would like, you can do !R perception to see what you see. Deadlock 34, welcome in. Hope you're having a great night.
Oh hell, what's that?
So Russell, piloting Nargith, unfortunately, you're not really able to make out much detail other than what I've described previously. You are at least able to understand that this chapel is quite a bit older than the one up on the surface. Andres, with an 11, you can tell a little bit more detail about this individual. They appear to be a merfolk. I'll say with an 11, you're not sure if they're male, female, what sort of weapon they might carry, or what they might be doing, but you can tell that they're a merfolk even from this distance. And this will be our last perception check coming from XIVM. Oh no! A 6, very unfortunate between the 3 of you. At this distance, it's just hard to see what exactly this figure is as they then move into the cathedral's grand entrance without a glance. They're now out of your field of vision, but you do at least know there are basically 2 paths ahead of you. You can either go through this cathedral that seems to bear some significance with the church back up on the surface, and possibly commune with this merfolk, whoever they may be, or you can try and stealthily climb over the rubble on the side of the cathedral, perhaps giving you the ability to avoid whatever encounter this is. Be it a combat encounter, a social encounter, who's to say? Too many low perception checks, so it's hard to know. That all said...
Mysterious merfolk sighted. So Valen, were you able to bond with the eel? Yansifer notes and asks.
XIVM, are you attempting to bond with this eel now that Yansifer is here alongside you? Perhaps the eel could even be helpful in scouting out ahead, if you're able to convince it to help you.
Yup.
Yep. In that case, Valen, as you open the lid of the jar and the eel sort of coils up in a reactive position, ready to strike out, I'm going to have you make an animal handling check at advantage. So it's going to be !R, animal handling, ADV. And that should give you advantage on the check. This will be a interesting test case because it is a check that has 2 words in it. And we haven't, I don't think we've tested that with ADV yet. Moment of truth. Oh my gosh. With a 4 and another 4
No.
plus 0, the eel is going to lunge out at you as you try to Chris Pratt this thing with the Velociraptor. You sort of put your hand out and it's gonna gnash, going after you. Let's see if it hits. Fortunately for you, that is a natural 1 on the die, so it misses as you yank your hand back and close the lid of the jar swiftly, keeping it contained and keeping its anger contained. You at least did not do any harm to this eel, so perhaps it is coming to understand that if it bites, you close the lid. It is slim progress, but progress nonetheless. With that container now sealed, with your attempt made, let's
This will
Saft!
make a great ranged weapon.
Saft, welcome to the Chaos Crew. Thank you
Yancifer
so much for
places the
becoming
lid
a
back
member.
on. Perhaps next time.
Yes, you will. As is typical for my animal handling checks, befriending animals, you will have to wait a full day before attempting that again. So could come in handy later. You have it just in case you need it. Saft, thank you for becoming a member. I'm glad to have you within the ranks of the Chaos Crew. Now, what are the 3 of you doing in this moment? Having explored all the possible options with this
Over
barbed
his loudly
eel.
clanking armor, Narethys asks, "Should we make sure this isn't a trap before walking straight up there?"
That is a very astute observation, a very good question to be asking in an area where you were warned that only danger exists. Certainly seems as though you may want to be weary of whatever lies ahead.
Sneaky barbarian stuff.
Okay. Valen, at least I know, is sneaking ahead. So Valen, I'm going to have you make a stealth check. That's going to be !R stealth. It should add your necessary modifiers. We'll see just how stealthy you are as you sneak up to the edge of the chapel. Okay. A 14 is not too shabby. Don't mind me just rolling some dice on the other end. So Valen, as you get out ahead of your friends who watch on from behind you, hoping not to distract from your stealthiness, you step towards the cathedral and you begin to pick up a scent of lingering decay. Nearing the door, you can see that there are collapsed pillars within, leaning against some of the cracked walls, their broken lengths casting long shadows across rows of worn stone pews, and many of which are shattered and toppled over.
Agree. Valen, can you use your magical eyes to identify anything of note? Yancifer asks as she conjures 2 shadow flame goldfish as Minisco.
That is not a bad idea. Conjuring some shadow flame goldfish. I don't think you have. I'm not sure what that is of, because I don't think you have find familiar. But you definitely pass that question over to Valen as she continues to scout the inside of this cathedral. Valen, one of the main things you see is the merfolk from earlier. Now that you're closer, you see a familiar silhouette. The merfolk kneels at the base of an altar, faced away from you. And you see the male merfolk that you met at the choral structure where Aruvi brought you to rest previously, just a couple sessions ago. So you see potentially a friend here in the cathedral. I will say, make a perception check to see if you notice anything else about this scene.
Minuscule scouts. They don't do much, but it is better than nothing.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Is that like a feature?
1R perception.
Okay. Let's see what you get on that perception check here. Oh, it reassigned you. Justin, you'll be rolling that perception check. If you want to type !R perception for me. Yeah, I like the flavor, Andres. That's a cool idea. Natural 20. I was just talking about how we didn't have very many nat 20s in this campaign. So now that you're closer and using that magical awareness to aid you in sensing anything out of place here, you can see that you can see a few things. Number one, the figure that you notice kneeling in front of the altar is a merfolk, but their tail is much longer than it was the last time you met them, and it seems to coil up back behind the altar for some reason. Number two, you can see that there is a palanquin, such as the one that was carried by the Depths cultists that you encountered previously, resting up over near the wall. However, there is no vessel nearby. So you're not sure what that palanquin was carrying. And last, but certainly not least, you see two fish-like creatures standing at either edge of the chamber, just on the opposite side of the door. They haven't noticed you, but there are two other creatures in this room that you didn't see before. And finally, the last thing you notice with a natural 20 is that perhaps you were not as stealthy as you hoped. Because in this moment, the kneeling figure stirs. Slowly, he rises, his head tilting just enough for the pale light to reveal the pallid, slick sheen of his skin.
So, the rumors were true.
His voice resonates, smooth and cold. Not quite like the individual you encountered before. He turns to face you, and his lips remain still as the voice echoes in your mind.
Surface dwellers, stirring the currents where they do not belong.
You see his milky eyes unblinking, and the sound continuing to echo in your mind as he cocks his head.
I'm sorry. Have we met before?
It certainly appears to be the individual you met before, but maybe it's just an uncanny resemblance. What do you think? Yeah, Justin got both of those nat 20s. It's quite the feat.
Rumors. What rumors? Yancifer responds nervously, speaking through the goldfish with minor illusion.
I'm going to have you make a performance check to do that, Andre. So !R performance to see if you're able to convince this individual that you are indeed just a goldfish floating in midair. You could succeed on that. I'm not going to reveal what he rolled on insight. Okay. You see him look out across the chamber and at you.
Why don't you step into the light so I can see you more clearly? And I will be happy to answer any questions you have.
And Yancfer, you're hearing this in your mind. Nargith, I imagine you are as well. You may not have approached the cathedral, but you are still hearing a bit of this, even at a distance. How do you respond, Yancfer, as he sort of calls your bluff? How are the other two of you acting in this moment? There's quite an air of mystery about this individual. There's no sign of danger yet. What could it mean? You see the two fish-like creatures on the opposite sides of the chamber, still standing stoically, each possessing a staff with these sort of crab-like pincers at the tip. Almost somewhat reverent of whatever individual this is. Perhaps a guardian entourage of some sort. So Andres, what do you do in response to this direct call out from this individual? As they maybe loose a bit of a smile across their expression.
Yancifer moves the two goldfish into the light and speaks through the goldfish again. Well, here I am floating in the light in front of a spooky psychic snakefish folk.
The individual looks across the two goldfish that you claim to be, chuckles bemused, and then turns back towards Valen. Ah, yes. There is a bit of a tinge of memory sparking in this one's mind, but I assure you, they are no longer here. Come. I will show you what has become of them. As he sort of motions.
Valen whispers to the others. Do all fish people look alike to you? Valen speaks louder. What is your name, stranger?
I am known as Cathedral. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Alas, I don't think this one knew your names. What are they?
He asks a simple question of the three of you.
And please, don't be shy. It can be dangerous outside. I wouldn't want any harm to befall you.
What are you all thinking here? Welcome back, Cajun Crate. You had an extra L in that roleplay command, so if you'd like to roleplay, type it again, just without that extra L. Yes, we can hear the pups. As always, our little chaos goblins in the
Call
background.
me Valen. You say, this one. Are you visiting who we speak with?
Valen. I suppose you could think of it that way. Myself and the individual you knew share this body. But right now, it is mine.
He continues to stand at the edge of the altar where he was kneeling and once again coaxes, "The three of you may enter now. I believe we're letting in a draft."
Yancifer whispers back through a goldfish, not trusting her voice right now. "How many do you know with snake tails and telepathy?" The other goldfish nervously speaks. "What do you mean, patron?"
How many goldfish do you know with snake tails and
Valen walks in, slowly, looking for an ambush.
Okay. Valen begins to enter as the two fish folk standing at either end of the doorway guarding the entrance are unmoving, seemingly waiting for any commands from their sovereign.
Bread.
Welcome in, Cajun Crate, now piloting Yancifer. As Valen steps in, the other two of you are perfectly within your rights to remain outside. But I will say that this individual continues to motion. And the other two of you, please join us. Do not leave your friend alone. Oh, it's okay. I just didn't fully understand what exactly you were saying. Whispering through the goldfish, not trusting her own voice right now. Yeah. Doesn't know too many fish people that have telepathy, I would imagine. And the individual you met earlier did not speak to you telepathically.
I am very hungry.
That's totally all right, Cajun Crate. So, Yancifer, Cajun Crate, and Narethys, Russell, are you stepping into this chamber in this moment? Or are you attempting to wait outside, although it does appear this individual knows of your presence? You're simply asking for you to join your friend who has already stepped in to the cathedral. Oh yeah, gotta get that bread. There's loads of bread in here, if you are hungry. Saft, you are a member now, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining.
Yes, I will make myself know. Goldfish don't live that long anyway.
That's a good point. Yancifer, now understanding that your ruse was completely unsuccessful, this individual did see through it. Speak softly, said the catfish. Yancifer, you step in to the light of this
Narethys
cathedral.
follows Yancifer in, keeping watch for any sign of a trap.
Okay. As the three of you enter the chamber, and Narethys, you attempt to keep an eye out for any sign of a trap, I'm going to have you roll an insight check for me. So, !R, insight. Try and ascertain the intentions of this individual and the two in their entourage. Okay. With the three, you eye the stoic expression of this fish folk that you met before. And as you are focused on their expression with a 3 on your insight check, a faint rumble rolls through the cathedral as the heavy doors close behind you, swinging shut, sealing with a resonant thud. In the dim light near the entryway, the two hunched Kuatoa push the great slabs into place. The merfolk's form now rises into the air, suspended by an attached tendril coiling from beneath his robes as his gaze lingers on you. Now, let us see if you too are worthy to kneel And as we enter our second encounter for the night, we're going to go on a
Time
quick
to flush
break.
these family pets.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go nowhere, because this is where the new feature I implemented comes into play. See you in about 10.
I
Bye.
agree.
Oh, terribly sorry. I didn't know anyone would be here while the stream was running. Give me a moment to tidy up. It's much better. Well, while you're here, we might as well take a moment to thank all of our members for supporting the channel and bringing this stream to life.
Huge thanks to Tides of Mo, Tabletop Beard, Grim Reaper, Atmoseeker, Justinian of Darkport, Angel Jobert, Angel of Darkport, Brett Venable, Dutin 103, Zebek Longfang, Lil Tired, Memebot 69000, XIVM, Jason Miller, Corey of Darkport, Devin Beard, Wilfreda Figueroa, Ruby Rod, Sam Huffpower, Daniel Struve, Agile Monk, Moon Goose McQueen, Jude Eshett, Malice, Russell Mooney, Defiant Chaos, T-Dog, Lothos Carpathia, Jesse's Brick Galaxy, Dog, Tiago Livas, Trevor Neal, Blaine Dexter, D'Angelo Barton, Devo Immune, BFG, Tampton Tonda, Bardic Aggro, Mark Nygaard, Edward Heller, Logan Keller, Bartholomew, Ira Wade, Tracy Pudol, Bacon and Vodka, Jay-Z Chisler, Misfit, Monster's Mother, JDLM, Kathy Evans, Lil Cute Maple, Adam, Mike G, Joshua Hammond, The Azure Sky, Ashicle, Christopher Denault, Jason 96, Joshua Kato, Harry Dong, Camo Camry, Rayan Harris, Triforce Samurai, Alexandre Henriquez, Mr. Nobu, Joe Zielbauer, Storytime with Knuckles, Cabbage Cat, Zev Winkler, Martin Webb, J.O. Hurd, Ty Truerock, Mr. Giata, Daniel Martin, Darth Goose, Rensler, Licks the Brute, HD Siles, Rub My Beard, Ninja King, Fables D20, Ken Robinson, Shivnath Sin, Joseph Akili, KCC, The Rawan Portal, BD, Pluck, Manny S, Rain Black, Golden 21, Storm, Johnny Littlejohn, Derek King, Casey White, Jim Douglas, Vuampi, Rachel, Chris Goodwin, Licia Harding, Buddha Weatherby, Oro, PA Nightmares, McFry, Mini Warlord, Jason Cash, John H, Biscuits and Gravy, A Chunky Monkey, I'm So Lost, Squiddy, Greg France, Amberg, Ben Posey, Michael Horvath, Toby Rogers, Curtis Ellis, Chris Jones, Jason Rapper, Twin Steel, and Jack and Aces.
You know, members get tons of unique benefits as well, like these weekly shoutouts and emojis that they can use in the stream chat, and a heaping helping of chaos points that can be used to, well, perhaps it's better to show you.
Welcome to Constructed Chaos, a D&D live play channel where you get to control the game. Join us on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time for our in-person live stream that allows you to influence our adventures in major ways, from alternate plot points to rerolls to absolute chaos. And tune in on Mondays at 7 for our brand new Chat Plays D&D format where you get to roll the dice and pilot the characters themselves straight from the live stream chat. And between it all, there's tons of homebrew content and guides that we release every single month. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, go out there and make some chaos.
Greetings, viewers. Bramble Backfoot hopping by to let you know about our monthly homebrew packets issued to all those brave enough to join the ranks of our prestigious order. With a plethora of items, monsters, mechanics, and more, it's easier than ever to bring chaos home to your table. So become a member and let's fight the forces of evil together.
Thank you, you're all too kind, and the drinks are on me tonight! Ha 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 ha! Oh, you must not have enabled gifted memberships! Let me show you how! Ha 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 ha!
What you'll want to do is make your way over to our channel page and then add /allow_gifts. From there, you can turn on the toggle for free stuff and join in the chaos. Ha 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 ha! Now for my next tune, a little ditty about a dead necromancer named Pinky.
Hello, Drazad here. Oh my god, you have got to come check out all of our wares. We have so many different things. Help support the stream and get yourself some new magic items as well over at the Constructed Chaos store.
Greetings to all my bearded brothers out there. I'm Alex, also known as Constructed Chaos on YouTube, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Tabletop Beard. This family-owned beard oil company is run by three brothers that have combined two great loves of mine: tabletop RPGs and beard care. And it makes a lot of sense because, as I'm sure many of you know, growing and maintaining a healthy beard can be an adventure all its own. I started my quest back before I was even on YouTube, and I guess you could say I was stuck at level 1 for a while, constantly itching my way through life with a wild and unkempt beard and just trusting hairspray and regular shampoo to get the job done. Believe me, I was rolling nat 1s on just about every charisma check I made at that point. But eventually I started trying various beard care products like oils, butters, and balms, and I found some that worked well enough, but none of them really tied into my backstory. Not to mention my wife was constantly complaining about the smell. Then I was put on to the products from Tabletop Beard, and let me tell you, it was a match made in heaven. Or hell, depending on what kind of flavor you prefer. These guys use a premium oil blend of meadow foam seed, rosehip, golden jojoba, argan, avocado, and sunflower oils to create the most high quality product that contains no cheap filler or artificial oils that you typically want to steer clear of. And each scent has been expertly crafted and matched to a familiar TTRPG style, so you know exactly the kinds of vibes you're putting out without the scents being too mundane or too overpowering. To top it off, all their products, oils, butters, and balms are made in small batches, so the quality control is top-notch, and so is the customer service. They're always looking for new ways to meet and exceed customer needs, and I've even heard that they have some new ideas cooking up behind the scenes. So consider this your session 0 and take some time to check out Tabletop Beard today. Truly, they're the only starting equipment that you need for your own successful beard care journey. Bear Dritz here, letting you in on a little-known ranger secret that'll keep you satiated in the wild, even when you have no rations left. Ew, not that. I'm talking about subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon. It's easy to miss the signs of a stream going live if you're not prepared. So make sure to do that and... What was that? Hold it right there, adventurer. We're looking for some deviants that refuse to like this video while they're still watching. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this heinous crime, would you? Well then, as you were, but stay out of trouble.
It appeared out of thin air when they found it, as if by the will of the plains themselves. A curious and mysterious bauble that has turned up time and time again throughout the ages. Some have studied it all their lives, hoping to unravel its uniquely fascinating magical properties. Many more have used its power for their own, though all falling victim to fate in the end.
now, it calls to you. By chance, by destiny, by desire, it matters not. It calls to you, and it calls to be cast from your palm, so that it might deliver unto you the unknown wonders held within.
Ha ha ha. I never knew I could say what I want during the break.
How much longer are they going to... Oh! Excuse me. Are they still not back? Wait there just a moment. I'll fetch them for you. The little chaos gremlins. You have people waiting, you know!
Welcome back,
I know.
everyone. And it looks like the raffle has functioned
No.
as intended. Saft, you have now earned yourself 1,000 chaos points. Thank you for sticking around through the break, everyone. That is something that should automatically trigger on all of our streams moving forward. It was a great suggestion from our friend Russell Mooney. And now we get back to the task at hand. An initiative needs to be rolled. And we'll go down the line as Cajun Crate, now piloting Yancifer. I'm going to have you type !R initiative. See where you go in this this next encounter. And Valen and Narethys, you're going to roll initiative as well after Yancifer here. So Cajun Crate, type !R initiative in the chat. We'll see exactly how people line up for this encounter. Sure to be a little bit harder than a barbed eel. Oh no, another nat 1 has entered the chat as you have now taken a total of 3 for your initiative score. Let's check out Valen, if you would roll initiative for me. Then Narethys, piloted by Russell, you'll be rounding out the back there for our initiative rolls. So Justin, just !R initiative to see where you will be lining up in this order, this turn order. I'll say Narethys. Russell, if you would like, you can roll yours now. It looks like we may be waiting for Justin here for a second. It might be because of a lack of eligible users for now. 14, much better. We like that. Still might not be enough, so we need our muscle mommy to make a good roll here. Justin, if you're still there, type !R initiative. And if you happen to head out, we'll go ahead and reassign to someone else. All right, I'm not hearing from Justin, so 3, 2, 1. Oh, XIVM, what timing you have, my friend. If you would like to now pilot Valen, go ahead and do !R initiative. You'll be determining our initiative for Valen here as you hop into the pilot's seat. Thanks for taking over for good old Justin there. He may have headed out at the break. Though I do appreciate him joining nonetheless. Okay, 10 for initiative. Not bad, but certainly not quite what we might have hoped for there. As we now begin this encounter in earnest. The first in initiative is going to be the merfolk that you all have realized just in time is probably not friendly. Let's see. Starting things off, they raise their trident, now dangling aloft by the tentacle that seems to be either connected to them or wrapped around them beneath their robes, and they slash across the air. They're going to target Valen with these attacks. 2 attacks in quick succession as the air itself sort of trembles beneath the blade. That is a 16 on the die, which will hit, and a 10 total, which will not hit. So one of these attacks is going to make contact, but as the wave of cold energy buffets your body, a piercing freeze enters your mind, and you're going to take 8 points of cold damage and 4 points of psychic damage for a total of 12. Valen, this is now going to bring you down to 33 hit points. Following this, seeing how hardy you are, the male merfolk who's introduced themselves as Kytheron is going to cock his head and whisper into your mind, "It would be so much easier if you just joined us." I need you, Valen, to make a wisdom saving throw. Again, this is against the charmed or frightened condition. I'm not sure if you have anything for that. I know some people do. Go ahead and do !R whiz save. We're going to see if you can resist this charm effect. Oh, it's all good, Justin. Welcome back in. We've got you back in the queue here to pilot another character. So XIVM, you got it. A 12. XIVM, as Valen feels this piercing cold enter their mind in the one place where they might be a little bit vulnerable, the one place that slips beyond the fibers of thick muscular tissue. You want anything other than this pain. You want this pain to end. And so unfortunately, you give in. And you are now charmed for a minute. You will be able to make the save again at the end of each of your turns. But you are charmed for now. As we now move to your turn in the initiative, as your turn begins, while you are charmed in this way, you must make a single weapon attack against a creature within range of you as your action. That is either Valen or Narethys. I will allow you to choose. You tell me where this attack is going. And then you will have your bonus action and movement to do as you will before you repeat the save. Very unfortunate effect, XIVM, but you are at least somewhat in control of your character. You can hopefully angle an attack towards someone less vulnerable between your two allies. Tough decision for sure. You will
Narethus, you look like a good thing to hit. Miss Im rolling low.
Please roll low. You're gonna do STR attack. Sorry, !R STR attack to see if you can hit your dear friend Narethys. Oh no. and with that, we have found the third natural 20 in this campaign. in this session. As you connect with Nargith, I'm going to have you roll 2d8 plus 3 to see how much damage you deal. Exclamation point R, 2d8 plus 3. You crit now? Oh, no. Oh, don't be bad. Okay, 6. 6 is not terrible. That's pretty low, all things considered. That's pretty low for a crit. As you do connect with Nargith, you deal 6 points of damage, bringing him down to just 10 hit points total. You now have your bonus action and movement to do as you wish. What would you like to do, XIVM? Saft, the dice do indeed tell the story. I do not like the story they're telling right now. This could be a rough one. This could be a rough one. But I do have some faith.
Do I still have a rage?
I believe that you do. Because you get one back when you short rest, so we know that at least. I'm looking at the wrong stat sheet. There we go. You do have 1 rage remaining. So you rage as a bonus action and roll that d8. A 2. So you are teleporting once again. You can teleport immediately 30 feet away. And based on how this works, you ascertain that if you are at least not within range of one of your allies, you can avoid making an attack against them. So you may want to position yourself a little bit differently. As you begin to rage, the flurry
Teleport to the stair top.
Okay. The flurry of wild magic begins to swell around you as you rush up the stairs, rather blink to the top of the stairs and now stare across at this merfolk who seems to have tracked your movement before you even arrived there. You are unfortunately still charmed by them, which means you can't attack them, but as we come to the end of your turn, you can now make a new wisdom save, and this time, because you attacked an ally, it says in the ability, you get to make the save at advantage. So, exclamation point R, whiz save ADV, to see if you can break out of this charmed condition. Pretty intense start to this combat here. Come on, XIVM. Both great rolls. You are able to break out of the charm arrested upon you by the merfolk you thought was your friend. The confusion sends you tumbling down the stairs, but you rush back up. No damage dealt. As we now move further down the initiative order to... Oh, sorry. I skipped Nargith. I did that out of order. But Nargith, it is your go. What would you like to do? That's my fault. Russell, it is your turn.
Does the door look like I might be able to force it open?
The door is currently guarded by these 2 fish folk. It is a stone door, but you are a fire Goliath. You are quite strong in your own right. I'm going to say, for the sake of understanding how openable it is, make a investigation check for me. So exclamation point R, investigation. Just how sturdy is this door? The rest of the structures here are quite dilapidated, and this one appears to be falling apart as well, but you heard the heavy thud of those doors when they closed shut. Nice! An 18 on your investigation reveals that the door itself is sturdy, but the wall around it is crumbling. If you rush into this hard enough, if you attack it hard enough, the doors themselves may apply enough pressure to the wall to actually begin collapsing the structure. Now, if that collapses the rest of the building while you're at it, you're not entirely sure. But you do know that you may be able to break this thing down if push comes to shove. If shove comes to doorway. So, Russell, what would you like to do as Nargith? Again, sorry for skipping you there. I was so focused on Valen, I forgot that you rolled higher. We'll have it right in the future turn orders.
I'm going to try to bring the wall down.
Okay. So you rush over to the wall, positioning yourself between the two fish folk that guard the doorway. I'm going to have you make an attack roll. So exclamation point R, STR, attack. To see if you can hit the weak point in this wall that will allow the doors to sort of collapse off of the hinges. Again, great investigation check that allowed you to see that the weak point is not actually the doors, but the wall holding the doors aloft. Oh, yeah. 23 is going to hit, and it's going to hit in the right spot. Swinging your longsword now, I imagine you have your shield again. I'm going to have you roll D8 plus 5 to see how much damage you deal to the wall here. Oh, looks like XIVM is now piloting Narethus, so you're going to roll that D8 plus 5 for me. Let's see how much damage we deal. 7. Not great, but you do find purchase in the cracks in the wall. You're able to sort of leverage your longsword almost like a crowbar. As you begin rocking it back and forth, you see one of the doors on the side that you're attacking beginning to slump and fall off the hinges. You hear rocks settling and crumbling onto the tile floor beneath your feet, but it is not quite enough to loose the door just yet. At the end of your turn now, we move to the Kuatoa, who now are on either side of you. The first is going to bonus action as they slam their staff onto the ground. You see a glow sort of emanate from the tip of their pincered staff, now illuminating the merfolk individual that you've all come into contact with. They are now concentrating on Shield of Faith. You're trying to keep their sovereign protected, their ward, so to speak. And the other one's going to do the same. So that's a total +4 to the AC of the merfolk. Seeing that they are somewhat protected now, one is going to turn towards you with the staff and lunge at you with it, Narethus. That is a 19 to hit, and unfortunately that will hit as you take 9 points of piercing damage and are now grappled by the staff. Its pincer closing in around you, bringing you down to just 1 hit point. Once again, just barely escaping death here. The other one is going to close on Yancifer. Once again, trying to use that staff. Now, you do have your reaction. You can take an attack of opportunity if you would like, but it will be at disadvantage because you're grappled, and this is not the creature grappling you. So, XIVM, if you would like to roll that attack, just roll it at disadvantage. And I'll know what you're trying to do. But as that occurs, this creature is making an attack on Yancifer. That is a 2 on the die for a total of 8. As Yancifer, you saw the attack on Narethus, who was a little bit defenseless after swinging on the wall, and you dive nimbly out of the way as the claw sort of closes just above your head. Or at least where your head was. You are not hit, and you are not grappled, more importantly. A 17 is going to hit. Unfortunately, we're going to miss that nat 20, but I'm going to have you roll a D8 plus 5 to see how much damage you do to this Kuatoa as they go after your friend, Let's see how they fare after one of your attacks. Another 7. Another not so great damage roll, but it is damage nonetheless. It is damage you did not have before. As we now move to Yancifer's turn. Yancifer, you are staring down this fish person who appears to be empowering the merfolk at the other end of the chamber. You know where the danger is. You know how worn you and your allies are.
Innate sorcery bonus action. Then magic missile. At highest LV, I will send one at Muscle Mummy if she is still charmed, if not all of them at the closest goldfish.
Got it. Okay, so Yancifer, Valen is no longer charmed. And as you bring up your innate sorcery, that means not much for this attack because Magic Missile does always hit. You're sending these all at the nearest goldfish, so the one that is basically right in front of you. And your highest slot level is 2nd level Magic Missile. So you're going to deal 4d4 plus 4 force damage to this Kuatoa next to you. Go ahead and roll that for me in chat to see exactly what you're able to do. $13. Good damage. Good solid damage there that is going to start adding up. As each of these shadowy missiles connects with the Kuatoa that is just missed with their pincer attack over top of your head, I imagine each of them drives into the underside of their chest, into their rib cage as they emit a high-pitched whine before erupting in shadow flame. The creature is not quite bloodied, but definitely felt a good amount of that damage. Is there anything else you're doing on your turn? You do have your movement.
Check.
You're right. Thank you for the con check. Thank you. They need to make 2, actually. Thank you for that reminder. And good thing, too, because they failed that con save. So now the enemy at the other side of the chamber is looking just a little bit weaker, not quite as hardy without the Shield of Faith from their wards here. We now move to the top of initiative again with their turn. We're going to see if they get their bonus action back. They do not. As they now look across the playing field, they can see that Nargith is just about down and grappled. They can see that Valen has broken their charm effect and is closing in on them. They can see that Yancifer might be a little bit easier to pick off later, so they're going to target Valen. And as they do, Valen, you are raging. Let me put that on so I don't forget, because I will otherwise. He now turns to you again, raising that trident and swiping twice in the air as he attempts to send more of these freezing mind slashes your way. The first attack roll is a 13. Does that hit you? Valen with a 14. That 13 does not hit. However, the other is an 18. So you are at least going to take another 12 total points of damage. That's 8 cold and 4 psychic. Bringing you down to 21 HP now. You are bloodied by the standards of normal creatures in D&D. However, you are a barbarian, so you may be able to make those hit points count a little better than most. As we move beyond the merfolk's turn, actually, it is going to move. And it's going to close here. Getting within 10 feet of you, Yancifer. Trying to perhaps close off whatever escape you may hope to make. We now move to Nargith. It is your turn. Valen, you're on deck. Nargith, what would you like to do? You're currently grappled by this Kuatoa. But you have certainly weakened the wall. One more good hit could bring it down. But it's got to be a good hit. Pretty dire straits here, XIVM. What are you thinking? Have a good night, John. I just saw that. Hope you have a great night. Yeah, it certainly looks like this. You guys could finally, for once, be a bit out of your depth here against this foe that wears the face of a familiar friend. There's a new mystery to ponder within the city of Nerethys. How exactly did this merfolk come to be?
Since you want to be so close to me, ill strengthen our bond with blood.
So you're swinging on the Kuatoa that has grappled you, I assume. Go ahead and make an attack roll. It's going to be exclamation point R STR attack. That will certainly hit. Go ahead and roll 1d8 plus 5 to see how much damage you do against this Kuatoa now. And they will need to make a con save. I'll roll it now while we wait. Cocked.
1R, 1d8, plus 5.
You got to do the exclamation point R. Slight typo there. Now you got it. Okay, 13. That's what I'm talking about. That's some good damage coming out from Nargith here. As this Kuatoa takes their first sign of damage, they too fail their concentration saving throw. And so now the merfolk is left a bit more defenseless. However, Nargith, you are still only at 1 hit point. Is there anything else that you'd like to do? I don't know if you have very many bonus actions left to use. You do have your movement, but I don't think you can do much being grappled there. So we are going to go ahead and move to Valen. Valen, you see this merfolk now sort of leaving your range, trying to close your escape. But you can close the distance on them in the blink of an eye with your little teleport shenanigans. What would you like to do, Justin? Yeah, this merfolk once protected you, once aided you, and now seems to want to end you instead. What could it mean? What could it possibly mean?
Can I reach the one on Yarn?
Certainly. With a 30-foot teleport, you definitely could. Blinking back across the chamber, you appear just behind that Kuatoa, and you are in prime position to strike. If you would like to type exclamation point R STR attack, we'll see if you can land this one. Finally making an attack against someone that isn't an ally. That's a 19, not a crit, but it will certainly hit as you lay into them with your Morning Star. You're going to do exclamation point R. Exclamation point R 1d8 plus 5 this time. Because now you're raging, so you get a little extra damage on that. And I have been, I need to remember the weapon masteries here, because both of these Kuatoas are now sapped. Will definitely come in handy. Oh, and 12. That's a good damage roll. Very nice roll, Justin. Now the creature is certainly bloodied and not looking very good. As you have landed your attack with the Morning Star, it appears you've crippled one of their arms, making it harder for them to use that pincer staff that they wielded just last turn. And no sooner than that, we now move to their turns. The first Kuatoa to attack is the one that is currently grappling Nargith. So it's going to make its attack roll, however, at disadvantage thanks to the sap property. And thank goodness for that disadvantage, because a 9 is not going to hit you, Nargith. The attack is going to miss as he attempts to slam the pincer down even more over your armor. You hear it groaning under the pressure, but it does not give, and you do not take damage. The other one is now going to make a disadvantaged attack on you, Valen, appearing just behind them. That is a 15 to hit, so it will indeed connect. However, this is piercing damage, so you resist it while you're raging. You only take 4 points of piercing damage from this attack, instead of the usual 9.
Bring it, pouting.
But that does mean you are now grappled by it. Thankfully, I know a certain little barbarian has a free teleport every turn. And once again, with their bonus actions, they're going to try and re-up the Shield of Faith on their leader. Doing a little bit of ring toss here. Their leader is once again somewhat shielded by a bit of magic that seems to swim through the atmosphere around them. We now move to Yancifer. It is your turn. However, Yancifer, you are starting your turn within 10 feet of this individual. You're the first person to do so, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw as you feel psionic whispers gnawing at your resolve, being this close to the individual. So Yancifer, that'll be exclamation point R whiz save. Glowing form of this merfolk towering over you does cause you now to have disadvantage on the first attack roll you make on your turn. However, your innate sorcery is going to make that a straight roll if you choose to make an attack roll. So, not quite as bad as the effect that you saw your friend succumb to, but certainly still something to worry about. What would you like to do on your turn there? Good old Russell Mooney.
I strike the wall Narethys was attacking with magic missile. First level.
Okay. Using magic missile, your last first level spell slot, your last spell slot in general, you send 3 shadowy darts towards the wall, striking true in the exact location where Narethys was previously attempting to pry it open. Roll 3d4 plus 3. We'll see if we can break this thing down. Okay, 11 points of damage as you connect with your 3 darts. The first hits. You see a bit of rock shrapnel blown across the floor. The second, you see the door slam onto the ground. And the third, as it strikes, the hinges groan and pop as the door slams onto the ground and actually is going to fall on top of this Kuatoa that is currently grappling Narethys, dealing 7 points of bludgeoning damage to them. And I'm going to say that it causes them to release the grapple that they have on Narethys.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to leave now.
And they need to make a con save. They fail once again. My gosh, they are terrible at these. They should not be casters. As they fall prone under the weight of the door, Narethys, you are freed from your grapple, and the way is now open to all of you if you should like to leave. Yancifer, you do have movement left. If you would like to try and be the first to leave, let me know. If not, I totally understand, because you could take attacks of opportunity here. While you ponder this, I will ponder the next turn of the merfolk figure. It appears to be just sort of carried around by this tendril. They don't appear to be touching the ground at all.
I run for the door in the path that offers the least opportunity attacks possible.
Okay, you are at least going to take one from the Kuatoa behind you. And so you rush away. That one is going to try and strike out at you. Straight roll. That is a 11 total, which I don't think hits you, Yancifer. With a 12 AC, you barely make it out. Once again, ducking that pincer attack that would have seen you held in place. You rush out of the door, and I'll say you're able to get about 5 feet back into the spiral path from whence you came. With that, it is the male merfolk's turn. Seeing you attempting to make an escape, they don't get their bonus action back. They are going to make attack rolls on you, Yancifer. 2 attacks coming your way at range. One is another 11. The other is a 22. So one of these attacks is going to hit. Yancifer, you take 12 points of total damage, bringing you down to just 3 hit points. Now, we've had a TPK in this adventure already, and there was a little bit of plot protection. However, I will let you know now that if a TPK happens here, that will be the end. There is no plot saving here. As Yancifer, you make it out just with an inch of life left within you. The creature is going to start closing. They're going to move, we'll say, here. So they can be within 5 feet of both Narethys and Valen. And with that, Narethys, it is your turn. The way is open to you. However, there is an imposing force standing just behind you. And because of their proximity, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. So, Narethys, exclamation point R, whiz save. And we shall see if you make it out alive. We shall see. Yeah, Silvery Barbs is not on the table, unfortunately. We are out of spell slots. Okay, with that XIVM, you now have disadvantage on the first attack roll you make this turn, as seeds of doubt are sown into your mind via the psionic whispers emanating from this male merfolk and the tendril that grasps them. So, what would you like to do, Narethys? With 1 hit point remaining, do you dare chance leaving this creature's range? Or do you roll the dice and stay put? This is about as dire straits as you can get in this this format here. XIVM, that's going to be a tough choice for you. I would not want to be in your shoes. I'm very sorry for that. Yeah, we don't want to kill Jason 96's paladin here. What do you think, XIVM? I know you're thinking hard because you just rolled that whiz save, so I know you're there. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. We at least know Valen can teleport out of the grapple and get out of there without taking an opportunity attack, but the same cannot be said of you. It is a tough call to make.
This will be my last turn. If I attack the prone fish guy, it'll be straight roll. Then try to leave, I think.
Okay. The prone fish guy would be a straight roll. However, XIVM, there are no eligible users to be reassigned to currently, so you're still piloting Narethys. Go ahead and make a straight roll against the downed Kuatoa. It's going to be !R STR attack. And then we're gonna see if you can make it out of there. 23 will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll 1d8 plus 5. You're playing for free right now, my friend. Love that for you. Odd the Bard, are you not in the roleplay running? Join up, man. Help us figure it out. 13 points of damage is quite hefty. I believe that's max damage as you connect with this Kuatoa prone on the ground. They are now bloodied and not looking good. And as you said, we are going to try and rush out of the door, fleeing this merfolk. They're going to make an attack roll against you. Just the one. For all the marbles. That is a 10 on the die for a 16 total, which misses you, Narethys, as you bring your shield up to bash away the strike. You feel the cold sort of resonate through the metal of the shield, and you feel a bit of that psychic energy wash over you as you go woozy for a second, but you are able to clear the doorway and rush out. Let's see, you got 35 feet of movement as a Goliath.
30 feet, please.
You got 35, my friend. We're going to use all of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so you can get about here as you rush away into the night, hoping to escape. Doing your best to do so. We now move to Valen, who is currently grappled by one of the weaker looking Kuatoa. You are still raging, and you do still have your bonus action teleport that you got from your rage earlier in the session. So, Justin, what would you like to do? Odd now playing Narethys. Welcome in, Odd.
If I can, I would like to attack once, then teleport.
You absolutely can. Roll an attack roll. It's going to be !R STR attack against this Kuatoa that has grappled you. Let's see if we make it. A 16 indeed is going to hit that Kuatoa, so roll 1d8 plus 5 to see how much damage you're doing to him. And they'll need to make that concentration check, which they fail. God damn it. They haven't succeeded a single one.
Bye, goldfish.
Oh, you missed the R there, Justin. Roll that one more time for me. !R 1d8 plus 5. I might have said it wrong, so that's my fault if I did. $11 points of damage as you connect with this Kuatoa. At 11 points does a lot, but not quite enough to fell them. They are, however, sapped thanks to your Morning Star, and you are no longer grappled as you teleport 30 feet away. We'll say you get outside the door and continue to run off into the distance. You can hear the voice unsettling in your mind as the creature calls, "Run as long as you like. There is nowhere you can hide from my master." And as you rush into the dark of Nerethys, fleeing this enemy that you thought was friend, that is where we will end our session for tonight. So, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and playing in the 7th episode of Depths of Nerethys. We seem to have narrowly escaped a TPK tonight. But you are not entirely out of the woods yet, so this will be a great cliffhanger to pick up on
We survived.
next Monday. You did survive so far. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those future streams. Smite, 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 indeed, as soon as you get those spell slots back, my friend. But until next time, go out there and make some chaos. Bye!
Bye.